Honourable Chief Guest of this session. He is former Additional Inspector General Police Punjab, former DG FIA, former DG Intelligence Bureau, and he is currently serving as Director General of National Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorism Finance Authority, and he holds a PhD in criminal law. Honourable Dr. Ihsan Sadiq Saab to come on podium and grace us with his address.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। पुलिस वाले अगर सबसे ज़्यादा किससे डरते हैं तो वो वकला हैं। तो मुझे एक दोस्त से मैंने कहा कि वकला का फंक्शन है तो उसमें क्या किया जाए। उन्होंने कहा एक अपना इंट्रोडक्शन ना कराएं और दूसरा अगर कोई आपके पास काली टाई और काला कोट है तो वो पहन के चले जाए। तो वो लकीली फिर मैंने वो अरेंज किया। तो उम्मीद है कि थोड़ा अगला आधा घंटा खैरियत से गुजर जाएगा। और दूसरा जो एक मेरे जैसे कम इल्म शख्स को डर लगता है वो पहले इल्म की महफिल में कि उसमें अपनी जहालत और वाज़े होती है और जो उनसे इंस्पिरेशन या इम्प्रेस होता है आदमी वो अलग है। तो मेरे लिए बड़े एजाज़ की बात है कि आज बहुत ही दोनों एक ज़माना था और अभी भी है ऑब्वियसली के जो एडवोकेट्स थे या लॉयर्स थे वो सोसाइटी का जजेस के साथ साथ ही तकरीबन उतने ही मोहतरम और मोतबर थे। और तो आज बहुत मुझे शर्फ हासिल हुआ कि बहुत सारे डिस्टिंग्विश्ड लॉयर के साथ बैठने का। तो टू फॉर्मली स्टार्ट माय very brief talk, actually I wanted to keep it very brief, but after listening to very distinguished speakers and inspired by the ambience created by this conference, I might take a little longer. So first of all, Honourable Sahibzada Uzair Saab, Basit Qureshi Saab, Babar Sohail Saab, Taha Qureshi Saab, my friend Rafiq Tahir Saab, distinguished guests, very dear young students, participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and my profound gratitude to the host of this conference for giving me this opportunity to be here this morning. It is indeed an honor for me to be amongst such learned galaxy of lawyers and the scholars. And of course, young budding students whom I can see that they will rise very high in their professional careers, inshallah. Before I start my talk again, there are some congratulations due. Again to the organizer of this conference for arranging this very high quality event. And I have very critically reviewed the preparatory material and the arrangements and the structure of this conference, and out of my experience, I can rate it very high as compared to what we see and witness in many cases in Islamabad and Lahore. My congratulations also to the young scholars who spoke very eloquently and very brilliantly prior to this talk, and especially Mr. Faisal, Shibana, Jutoi Saiba, Dr. Khalid, Ehsanullah, Ms. Farah, Shahid Saab and Zaid Saab. On your topics, you did a lot of justice, and especially thank you for limiting your presentations to the time limit in most of the cases. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue of justice is a very, very core issue since time immemorials. It's not something that is a new concept. It is as old as probably humans are. That's why this idea of justice is mentioned time and again in the Holy Book. And not only in our own religion, but other religions as well. Rather, it is said that the universe is working or is functioning on the basis of justice. It's not possible that one planet leaves its orbit and enters into Earth. That will be destruction. So, injustice or leaving your own rightful path or orbit would lead to destruction of a society. So it's therefore very important. I think in this time, at this time, we need more of these discussions, because if we think that there is a lack of justice in the society, then the end state of the society cannot be very, very distant, and we cannot be oblivious to what end state is. Just a way of explaining the importance of justice, I would like to narrate here two small anecdotes. There is a very famous joke about an owl and parrot, and all of you must have heard that. And the crux of that story is that the owl says it's not the presence of owls that destroys a human habitat. It's absence of the justice that destroys a society and a nation and a habitat. Second story is about Churchill. During World War II, it is said that there was a meeting going on. The war cabinet was meeting, and the Churchill was briefed that Germans have bombarded London and almost it is reduced to rubble. And Germany might prevail. And Churchill asked, are the courts functioning? Are the courts functioning? And the answer was, yes, they are functioning and they are delivering justice. So he said, don't worry. Then this society will not perish. Our buildings might go, our roads may be destroyed, but we as a society will continue to exist and live and flourish. The third anecdote relates to my own visit to a court in San Diego a few years back. The first thing I noticed was an inscription on the very mast of the building. It said, "World envy our Constitution." And I was surprised. They didn't say that world envy our status as a superpower, as the biggest military power, as biggest economic power, or a space power. But they say that the world envy our Constitution. So this is the importance the living society gives to its Constitution and justice. And when I entered that courtroom, a court hearing was taking place. And who was the defendant? A very smart, like Sadalsa, very handsome lawyer. And he was being tried on the complaint of a black criminal who was rightly accused of a murder. And the grievance of that black person was that my lawyer has not adequately represented me before the Honourable Court, and as a result, I have been awarded a higher punishment. So I was stunned, and that was a white smart, out of a Hollywood movie like Lion, and he was being tried for that allegation. So, accountability has been mentioned almost every presentation. So, accountability is key. When we talk of justice, when we deliver justice to others, we should also be accountable for our actions as part of the criminal justice system. So, again, I would emphasize that, especially in a country like Pakistan, where the good governance is lacking, where we have problems with social, political, and economic justice, the importance of criminal justice becomes all the more. Because if the other organs of state and other institutions are not delivering, and regulatory mechanisms are not very effective, then people would take recourse to the courts. And even not to civil courts, as somebody mentioned here, that civil remedies are weak in this country. So what they do is to take course to police, use police, exploit police through bribery, or through swaraj, or through any other political interference, and then do the same with other components of the criminal justice system. So this is the core issue with the criminal justice system in Pakistan. And it cannot be reformed in isolation, whatever we do. It has to be fixed, but the problem is that unless that long process of governance reforms and other institutional reforms take place, we cannot sit idle. So whatever we can do, we should be doing that. So in that context, it is heartening to note that there have been efforts in recent past where the main issues revolving and long-standing issues which were impacting the criminal justice systems were tried to resolve. I will come to it a little later, but before I go there, let me also explain to the young students that the criminal justice system in this Pakistan, like police, prison, even the modern court system, we inherited it from the British. Before it, in the Mughals and before the Mughals, there were two types of courts, Faujdari and Diwani. Faujdari are the criminal and the Diwani are civil courts. There was no police as such. Faujdars used to control law and order and serious crimes. They would deliver justice themselves. In civil cases. The Diwani Adalats would do, and in some cases where criminal cases like murders or very high serious robberies were brought to the Faujdars, and they are called Faujdari Adalats. So it was a combination of judge, jury, and police. So there was no separation of functions. So we are very used to it. That's why people here, one of the presentation was about the abuse of the process. The concept of procedural justice was introduced by the British. It was not there before. So as a result, what happens that people get frustrated with this system where it takes care of the procedures. It takes care of the not only the victim's rights, but as we saw in one of the presentation, accused right as well. So, but the result is that we have gone to an extreme where technicalities and procedural issues have taken such a precedence over other issues that now the real facts and the actual facts in question and the grievances are not redressed on those bases. So what was previously happening, that if Qazi's notices or a Faujdar notices, he would immediately on the spot do justice. No, it takes years to do that. But generationally, we are attuned to that concept of delivery of justice. So we should be mindful of that. That's why we We often hear calls for institution of special courts or, expeditious disposal of cases, and also for military courts and other extra judicial measures. Again, another issue with criminal justice model that we inherited from the British was that it was meant as a tool of colonial control, not primarily as mean of delivery of justice, but still, if we talk to the older generation, they were happy with it. The reason was why they were happy with it, that at that time social control mechanisms were so effective that they the ये आगे चलाएं यार इसको थोड़ा सा that the matters that were referred to police and judiciary were very small in number. So the small number of courts and small number of police could handle that. But after the creation of Pakistan and last 75 years, we have almost, the population has gone 5-6 times larger. The social control mechanisms have vanished, like village and community-based arbitration and mediation models. So as a result, everything now comes to the court. So this is one of the reasons of the 2.9 million cases of backlog. But I must say that backlog is one of the issues. But even if you clear the backlog without improving the quality of justice, it will not address the issue. So our aim should be, and that is the whole purpose of the criminal justice system, and for that matter, the overall justice system, is to ensure that grievances of victims are rectified, offenders are brought to justice and punished, and after being punished, they are rehabilitated, reintegrated in the society. Unfortunately, we have heard a lot about judiciary and to some extent police, but this morning we couldn't hear much about the prison and the probation. So these are very important, and rehabilitation of the offenders. I think the discussion would not be complete without taking into account these three components of the prison criminal justice system. So coming to the reform efforts, after 2000 especially, the reform efforts took the center stage, and we saw a police act enacted in 2002. There was a separate prosecution branch that was prosecution service that was established, and a 350 million, the biggest justice sector program in the world, was launched in Pakistan by the assistance of ADB. As a result, the courts, you see, there were no proper courtrooms, there were no courthouses, and this all infrastructure got built with that aid, and there were other many initiatives which were taken, and including the case management system that we here know was initiated in that era. Then there was emphasis on improving quality of training in all components of criminal justice system, police, judiciary, and prisons. So salaries were enhanced as well. We now see that police and judiciary have one of the best salaries. So there were incentives created. But despite this, what happened that the people are not still satisfied. This is the result, and the criminal justice system has not improved its performance. We saw in the last presentation that Pakistan is still 142 out of 193 countries in rule of law index, and 130th out of 142 countries in Justice Index, World Justice Project Index. So what is the reason? The reason is that we have infrastructure, we have more trainings, we have more salaries, we have separation of function in terms of a new prosecution service and special courts, but still there is an organizational culture about which one of the presenters alluded to, which abuses the process, or street level bureaucracy, as one of the very leading scholar, Lipinski, he coined this term, street level bureaucracy, be in the police ASI or a ALDA, what you say, ALMAD, or any other person in the with the lawyer, munshi, or in prosecution office. Then again, I'm glad to hear this, that a recurring theme of our point of discussion about the issues in criminal justice system by all presenters was corruption. And then again, there was another issue of external political interference or coercion in interference in the judicial, especially police matters. And I have already mentioned the weak civil remedial system. So civil side is weak, so as a result, the load on criminal justice system has manifold increased. And not to miss the litigation culture that we have in this country. As a result, what is happening, that apart from the ranking that I have discussed with you, there is a higher population of under trial prisoners. There is a low prison population. In America, there are 2 million prison inmates. Here we have around 80,000 with a 25 million. What is the reason? Because under trial prisoners are constitute almost 60% of the prison population. But where are the convicts? If people get convicted, they would stay in jail. It means that there are fewer numbers of people who get convicted. This last year, we had 1.2 million cases registered. And if we go by those numbers, there should be a very high number of prisoners in the prisons. But in around 94 prisons, we have just 90,000 prisons. So there is low conviction rate. And low conviction rate means recidivism. Those who have studied criminology, and they know that recidivism means repeat offenders. The people who commit robbery or theft, they again commit. When they come out, they again go on rampage. This is another indication that our criminal justice system is not working. So as a result, what happens? People try to settle scores themselves. So there is a highest murder rate in this country as compared to rest of the South Asian country. And then we also see a culture of extrajudicial killings by police, and courts are silent about it, very strangely, because they think that police is also doing their part of the job, with due respect. So no policeman is asked, why you have killed so many people in the last year? So hundreds of people are being killed. So it means your criminal justice system is not working and police is taking that job. And that's a very, very bad indicator. So in the end, I would make very humble recommendations. First of all, as again somebody mentioned here, we need to review the criminal law, the CRPC, PPC, and Evidence Act, Kanuni Shahadat. Because other laws have changed, there are other modern laws as well, but the criminal procedure code is same. So India has recently made tremendous changes in their criminal law. We can follow their suit, and because we had a similar code, so it's easier for us to adopt some of the changes that are reasonable. There needs to be more cooperation between federal and provincial governments. The criminal law is a federal subject, while the law and order, police, and judiciary are with the provinces. So there is a disconnect. It should be addressed. We are a common law country. The lawyers here, the learned lawyers know it. And we always see case law being mentioned, the precedents being quoted. But I would humbly suggest, I am not an expert in this area, but I think we should adopt a practice of codifying such case laws when they attain finality, so that it's easier for even a common man to know this, because it is a very technical thing. And then we should introduce diversion at the early stage. Not only court annexed mediation, but also police annexed mediation. As in the juvenile justice system, there is a provision for diversion. So we should introduce diversion in other cases at the police station level. Police is not using the powers granted to it under CRPC, especially under 497 and 169. So they should be encouraged, and there should be safeguards against misuse. We also mentioned in the presentation about witness protection programs. All the provinces have enacted, even the federal government has enacted a witness protection program. But for last many years, not a single case of witness protection has been, because we borrowed the law, our ground realities are different. It should be revisited. What are the drawbacks? There should be sentencing guidelines. Now, with the same range of punishment that is available, different judges are according different punishments. So there should be some standard. Criminal Justice Coordination Committees were created under Police Order 2002. They are there, they are working, but they are not effective. They comprise of the district session judge, the DPO, the SP investigation, and DCO, and other prison and probation staff. But they are not functioning effectively. And this Criminal Justice Coordination Committee, in my opinion, should be at the provincial level under the Chief Justice of the Provincial High Court. Prosecution should be made more effective. Now, when I went to a police function, please give your attention for another couple of minutes. And the police officer sitting there, they told me, I was very harsh with them, that why are you not processing the cases? These are pending. They asked me, we are being asked to pay some money to them. So I was astonished. If this is the state of affairs, police is already blamed, and now if the police is being asked, so we can just imagine. But the prosecution service play its role and scrutinize. When we see in country like you mentioned, sir, UK, if there are higher rates of conviction, it is not just merely 2-3% conviction there, but they are 97% of the cases which are referred to them by the prosecution service after scrutiny. Somebody mentioned here that the special courts, so there should be functional specialization within judiciary as well. Police has gone for functional specialization. We have created special, separate investigation wings, separate. That's it. And then there is the issue of adversarial and inquisitorial system. Ours is adversarial, whereas our ethos are more inquisitorial. So with these few recommendations, I end here, and with my gratitude to the organizers for inviting me. I have taken more long because I got passionate seeing the quality of this event and seeing the learned panelists on the table. So my apologies if I have taken longer time than due. Thank you.